That is cool because when you said they're coming in, my whole head lit up. Like just like it was simultaneous with you saying it. Maybe a split second before, but when you said it, I certainly felt it.
I know it certainly reinforces the connection that there's no real distance.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Well, no separation, no space, you know, all one, all connected, all of that stuff. This is our good friend Arla.
Hi, Arla.
Hi.
Well, so Kathleen,
nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too.
Oh, by the way, Kathleen extended an invitation to you and Beans. She does a channeling show, right, or something? Wait, just people get together like this on Zoom or whatever, and she invited you guys if you want it.
Yes, I channel on Zoom a group called the Aspects of Love.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a YouTube channel that has a few of my recordings on there. So
awesome. That sounds cool.
Put your information on give it to Brian so he can.
The business card that I sent you, Brian, has all that information on the back.
Okay. Okay. All right. So so what just happened, Kathleen? You said your guides are here, or whatever, because when you said do you feel them, boy, did I ever feel them. I still feel them like right across here, and it's like euphoric.
Euphoric.
I have the whole group of the Aspects of Love looking in.
Have they met the world's handsomest man, Frank Oliver Beans?
They have now.
The Aspects of Love. That's what.
That's cool.
When you go, ooh.
We don't want to get them jealous now. You know. I got to rename myself. You want to be called Peach Cobbler there, Ma?
Do what?
You want to be called Peach Cobbler?
Why not?
How about you, Beans? You haven't seemed to like the Mr. Frank Oliver Beans lately. You want to?
I like to be authentic. Don't like to hide my personality.
Well, that's the whole point of the show.
That's your whole point of the show.
Okay.
May I gift you with some light language because it's sitting here waiting.
Go for
Absolutely. Well, that's a tingler.
That's a heart expansion. Very much so.
My whole head is like tingling, and now it is in my heart now too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you sound excited.
Yeah. And I'm floating.
So how many? This is the pregame show, but I included in the YouTube video as a little extra. So, how many different? Well, maybe no. I should actually do that in the real show. I'm not going to ask you that right now. I won't ask you that.
You just can't wait, Tot.
I can't wait to get going. Y'all?
Me either. Me either.
What are you trying to do, a Canadian accent? Is that your Canadian accent, Ma?
My Canadian accent? Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind, Tot?
Well, I didn't recognize that voice. I tried to do your guys' accents, but
it could have been somebody else talking, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can do, like when you've got a, when you're of a certain nationality, like I can't do a Canadian accent. I can just talk, right? Because they
Yeah.
just sound normal.
Yeah. The funny thing, I used to channel Kashima some, and one of the women that would always go said, I know it's not you because he didn't have your accent. So he's got to be pretty strong to get rid of that accent. So
Yeah.
it was funny.
Yeah. I remember there was a lady, Laurel, Mr. Beans, we've had her on the show. And she was what did she say she was? She's a good friend of mine and Sue, so she always does everything free for me, right? I'm a mooch. And she did my what was it? What did she call them? Not guardian. The heck was they called? Anyway, I guess guardian. It's not guardian.
They're,
It's something like
they're
that.
called NPCs,
What's that?
non-player characters.
Anyway,
I thought that was funny. They're not in his body, you know what I mean?
Beans, that went right over that head.
yeah, I'm actually trying to think of the name of what it was. Your entourage, I guess.
Oh, yes.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Entourage.
And she said that anyway, so she was giving me this reading or whatever, and she says that my number one guy was some Sasquatch guy, some tall, lanky Sasquatch guy called Amando, like Amando, and he liked to roll it when he said it, and it was really funny and whatever. And but then she said there was some praying mantis guy who was the second guy, and this was remarkable because and what was his name? Oh, she called him Todd. He said, "Call me Todd." And I said, "Well, can you tell me what his real name is?" And then she got into his voice and said his real name in praying mantis talk. And I swear that what came out of her mouth is not a human being is not capable of that. It was so like, what the hell? I just was stunned. Like it was like insect talk. It was like it. There's no way she could have come up with that. Like it was as authentic as hell, and it was pretty cool. Anyway, so we should maybe talk about entourage. What do you know about an entourage, Kathleen? Are they like the people that you connect with, or are they different?
I feel like when an entourage is your group, your buds, and when you said entourage, my mind said, yeah, we got a big entourage. So I that's not something I have delved into, except that I know that the group that I work with, just there's many of them. They showed me a choir of about 5,000 people, beings, all holding hands and working together in one voice. But the 5,000 was just a number, because it's 5,000 or it's one, whatever way you want to think about it. But I don't get many names, because they don't, the names that they have are names that we use to identify them, but they don't really need names to identify themselves.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. I agree.
So-
Like, go ahead.
So that it doesn't come up so much.
Yeah.
Names don't.
It's just for me. I mean, I don't even know if my clan and what I call them is their real names, but it doesn't matter because they
No.
associate with what I think their names are, right? Like, you know, like I'm sure my little friend Little Bud, that's not his real name. I don't think so anyway.
Is that the one that ran across the bottom of the screen in that one?
I believe
Video.
so. I believe so. He's
Yeah.
a juvenile. He likes to play little tricks. Yeah.
So,
yeah. Little Bud.
Did you give the light language item that I sent you? Did you leave it for RE?
No, but I'm going to a camp out this Sunday to Monday with Laurel and her group. Christine Schwind will be there.
Wow.
Yeah. And a bunch of people from the Light Body Academy. And so I'll give it to him then. Do you want me to give him the little one or the big one?
Whichever one feels right.
Okay. Okay.
I don't, which they're all different.
All right.
But they are light language.
I want a
Okay.
Guinness. I want a Guinness. I haven't had a Guinness in a long time.
A Guinness beer?
Yeah. Or a Murphy Stout. I'll take a Murphy Stout too. It's sweeter.
Where in the world did that come from?
From the strange and usual mind of Frank Oliver Baines.
All right,
Isn't
hold
it-
up your coffee cup.
Oh, it's got to be Tots.
All right in front. There you go. See, looks like Guinness.
Yeti. It's a Yeti. Why? What about it?
It's the color of Guinness.
Oh, is that why?
You need to have a Guinness,
I need a Guinness.
Mr. Baines.
Hey, wait a minute. It's 9 o'clock. I think I'm going to get this show rolling. Yeah. So we started an hour early because Ma Cobbler actually has a lot of stuff that can complement this show. So we're gonna focus on you, but we're gonna have a discussion because there's a lot of kind of stuff that we can kind of
Why don't you start the
bounce
show?
off each other.
Welcome everybody to the Pork and Bean Show.
It's not started yet.
Well, that's why you need to have. I'm helping you.
There was a little prod there, wasn't there? Woo, goodness.
Hey, I might have a big opportunity to promote our show.
Yeah.
Robin asked me to be on Duke's show.
The Dukes of Hazzard.
Duke, you know the Westwood Ho, Pilgrim. Remember the Duke?
Yeah.
How come you guys didn't laugh? I thought that
That
was
guy's
pretty funny.
gay. That's why.
Is it? Who? Duke Wayne?
Yeah.
Was he gay?
Yeah.
He was?
I don't
Yeah,
know.
we
what
can't-
people say. I just thought it would be a funny thing to say.
Yeah, but
Is somebody dinging? I keep hearing a ding.
I hear
I'm
a ding
sorry,
ding
that-
dong.
Yeah,
Okay.
that,
All right.
that
I'm
is my group of friends who are.
Yeah,
who
we got to
are
get rid of
trying
that. We got to get
their
rid of
way.
that ding if we can.
Push
I
the
thought it
button.
was here, and I was like,
Hold
all
on.
right, guys, what are
Push the
you
button.
doing in there
It
dinging?
says-
We don't want to.
Okay,
It says share.
I'm gonna turn my phone off.
Yeah, we got to get rid of that ding. You sound like you're popular. You're dinging nonstop. Okay, so I'll do an introduction, and then we're going to talk about how you were an accountant and what happened to you. We'll start right from the beginning, right?
Wherever you want to start.
Start
Okay.
the video and then say, welcome everybody or hi everybody.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the Pork and Bean Show. My name is Pork Cunningham, and I'm here with the world's handsomest man, the one, the only, the legendary, Frank Oliver Baines.
You
Hey,
can
Mr.
get your
Beans.
bubblehead- You can get your bubblehead at our,
Yeah, he's
sales,
He's one of the bobblehead people.
You
It's
got
a
a
new.
bubblehead of Frank Oliver beans on your car.
I would like that. That'd be cool. You know what? You know what? Actually, my wife, what was her name again? Susan, I think. Isn't it? You know what she said? She wanted to get bobbleheads of Frank Oliver beans and me. You have to buy them as a set. Wouldn't that be cool?
We have
You
a
guys should.
fantastic guest today, is Kathleen Whitehead, and she's going to do all
That's-
kinds of fun things. And Arlene,
Arlene,
Arla.
Arla. Well, Arla's almost like she's almost like a co-host, you know. Like
Arla
she's-
oil. That's it. When you Arla oil, that comes from you know, Oklahoma.
You know, by the way, my Sasquatch people, or at least one of the big fellas, calls me the white-haired boy. So maybe we're related there. This is white-haired boy.
If you're watching on Facebook, join the Pork and Beans group. If you're watching on YouTube, then hit the like button and the announcement subscribe button, and you know,
And share.
and
Share,
That's
share,
it. That's
share.
share, because we got important things and life changing. Your life will change.
We do.
Yeah.
Ours did.
Your life will change with a little bit of pork and beans in your belly.
Well, don't say that. Now I got to be like serious and responsible and stuff. I didn't know we were changing lives.
Changing lives, yeah.
So anyway, Kathleen Whitehead and the white-haired boy. So I guess this show was meant to happen.
Oh, it was.
So
It was. It's been a
That's
while
true.
coming, and I'm so excited for what she's going to bring forward.
All right. So Kathleen, you told me that you used to be hold on a minute. Oh geez, now I got a brain cramp.
An accountant.
An accountant, yeah. Which
See,
is quite.
I listen. You don't even listen to yourself.
No, I knew it. I knew it, but I just said it before the show, didn't I?
Yes.
I just
That's
had one
how I
of
heard
those. I just had one of those brain farts.
Yeah.
But anyway, you used to be an accountant.
Yes.
Perpetual.
I
Oh, by the
was
way-
an accountant for
by the
42
way-
years.
By the way, before the show, Kathleen was saying her guys were coming in or whatever, and she said, "Do you feel it?" And as soon as she said that, my whole head lit up with like this blissful kind of energy. So we got quite the presence around us today, which is pretty cool. So go ahead, Kathleen. So you were an accountant for 42 years. See, I listened, Beans. And what happened to you?
Well, what happened began while I was still an accountant. At age 50, my life changed, and the next morning I woke up realizing that I didn't know who I was. So I embarked on a journey that took about 10 years of unpacking my own personal baggage and finding out who I was. I actually felt so good about that journey
Woohoo!
that I to celebrate my 60th birthday, I danced a tango demonstration. And because I was fully in 3D and didn't know anything about anything metaphysical. But then shortly after that, I met a person, her name's Ivan Nasser, and she is quite the magical person. And she said, "You have a mission. You're not who you think you are." And after 10 years of finding out who I was, I would have expected myself to walk away slowly, but I did not. And I began having experiences and learning things, and was told that I was supposed to do some stuff in the world. And but I didn't believe it until age 65 when I had a spontaneous experience of doing a reading for someone in a class. We were studying psychometry. I apologize for that sound, but
I thought you
there's
turned it
no
off.
way for me to get rid of the sound.
Oh, okay.
It's on this computer.
That's it. Yep.
Well,
The only way is to mute.
okay.
So I'm not a technical person. So
Are you on the computer,
just
or
see.
it's on the computer? That sound is coming out of the
Yeah.
computer or your phone?
the computer.
Oh, okay. Well, hopefully people don't keep doing it. But okay.
Everybody, whenever they hear a ding, just know that the spirits are calling. That's all. It's
Yeah.
a spiritual thing. So
Yep.
only on this computer and only on this
Yep.
show.
Yep. And send out some love. You hear that ding and send it out. So
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Good idea.
I like that.
Good idea. Good idea. So anyway, I began learning about myself as a metaphysical being, and never expected to be a medium or a channel or any of that. And but I am. And I don't even know what I'm open to anything unless it's unpleasant or of a lower vibration. That I don't want to do anything that is a show or out of ego or anything like that. But anything that the universe has in store for me, I am open for it. And it has been a wild ride.
Well, so this all happened when you were started with 50 and you woke up not
Yeah.
even knowing who you were.
Well, life changed. I became suddenly single as a complete surprise. And
I was going to ask what Bean said too. What is it like to go to bed? So you literally went to bed the night before feeling yourself, and you woke up like didn't know who you were, completely changed.
Well, I can explain that a little bit. I woke up and I realized that I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do, how I wanted to live my life, how I just didn't have any idea. And it was terrifying.
Yeah, but was it a gradual thing, like you were kind of thinking, like months in advance, that reevaluating things, or was it just like a light switch?
Well, so that's what you say when your relationship broke up. Yeah. That makes sense. When your relationship broke up, then you didn't have this other person that you're always referring to. What are we going to do? And then now it's like, what am I going to do? That's a big change.
I feel like I am so grateful that I had that realization that I didn't know who I was, because up until that point, I was fully, okay, I'm doing exactly as I'm supposed to do, and I'm living my life and doing what the world wants me to do and so forth. And then I just, it was life-changing, because I realized I didn't know. And if I thought I was happy up until that point, but I didn't know what it was to be happy. So anyway, that's a whole 3D experience that began my journey into finding out how unlimited we really are.
Mm-hmm. I would say that your realization that you didn't know who you were is the first step to realizing who you are, right?
Exactly. And I did a lot of work. I dug very deeply into my own experiences and why did this happen? Why did I react to that? And so forth. I spent 10 years reading every self-help book, doing every activity to figure that out until, you know, journaling and everything, meditation, tried every church under the sun. You know, I worked really deeply thinking, okay, I'm going to find out exactly who I am and what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah. So
And then I said, oh, you're not who you think you are.
so were you intuitive and stuff before that, or did that all just come on after that?
I thought all of that, everything that I experienced, I thought everybody experienced.
Oh, so you had that all your life?
Well, I think I did. I know that I was an observer of everything from childhood on up. So, and I knew things about people. I knew how, but I also hid myself because I was afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, but it was all normal. Everybody can do that. But if I kind of felt like if I could know these things about people, then other people know everything about me, and they're very shy.
So give us an example. Like, what would you know about people that maybe a regular person wouldn't know? Like you, what would you pick up on people?
Well, I feel energies, and so, you know, I could assess people's moods, and I really think everybody can do this, but we just don't pay attention to it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, when somebody walks into a room, okay, I gotta walk on eggshells, or I'm safe, you know, those kinds of things.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It was not developed, and it was not open to me. I didn't know that because I thought everybody knew that, you know. So
I think a lot of people do. I think I have some of that. You can have somebody walk in the room and you just know there's something I don't like about this person, or I don't want to say anything, or you know, whatever. And so
yeah,
I think it's more common than people realize. But yeah,
I believe that everyone has access to all of it.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you get a choice. Do I want to really explore who I really am, or how unlimited everything is, or do I want to stay in this little box that's comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a great thing that you're talking about when you don't really know yourself that much, and then it's like, and you're going, well, let me find out what this is all about. That opens to the door to like asking, what's the best thing? What's the coolest thing? What's the best thing that I could do? Or what's the best thing I could be? And a lot of people can live their whole life and never think that. So they're just living their life on automatic, like you say, and which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's just so much more, and that's what those that's what's cheery about it is the more.
I learned to pay attention to how my body, my physical body, would feel when I would have a choice. A simple example is if somebody's constantly asking you for rides, and some days you feel like, oh yeah, that's fine, that won't be in my won't hamper my day, and other days it's you resent it, and your body reacts to that. So you should really listen to how your body feels when you want to make a choice. And if your body doesn't feel comfortable and relaxed, then maybe the answer is no.
Mm-hmm. So how when you so what you're doing now, how did that realization, how did you figure out what you were supposed to do? Was it your guides who told you? Was it just a knowing? How did you get to where you are now?
When I when I was told after Iva that, kind of nudged me to explore more, I was told I had my first reading and they told me about all these things I was supposed to do, including trance and all these kind of things. But I didn't believe it. But I started studying. So I started going to different groups and experiencing things. And I was kind of weird in those groups because my body would react to everything. My body would shake and everything. And I always felt safe, but other people kind of made judgments about that. But so I would just naturally, I'd feel an energy, or I would be next to somebody and they would react and they'd say, oh, that feels good or something. And maybe they would say they have a backache and I'd put my hand on their back and they would be relaxed in some way. So it was just kind of, oh, all right, that seemed to have some sort of an effect. And so I continued to study and just followed my intuition. If there was an example when I went into a park, I saw a woman with a dog, and I knew this dog was really, really ill. And I kept hearing, give the dog a blessing, give the dog a blessing. And finally I just said, may I give your dog a blessing? And she said, yes, of course. And I put out my hands just naturally and channeled energy, and my body sort of started shaking. And I thought, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? And what I knew was that dog had some relief. And I didn't really know what all was happening, but I would just follow what I was guided, and not even knowing I was being guided, but just follow the intuition of what my mind would be saying, and then moving. When I walked into a park, or I walked a park for a few years at the beginning of this, and I believe that I was being invited by Sasquatch, but I had no idea. In hindsight, I see the things that are clearly Sasquatch, but there's also a lot of ET and a lot of spiritual whatever. There's all levels of dimensions that we can communicate with if we want to. But it came naturally. Then when I had the spontaneous experience of doing a reading for somebody in a class situation, we were studying psychometry, and I picked up a bracelet and I felt a presence. I have no idea when I realized that I had spirits around me, but I knew I had a spirit around me, and I wrote down a few words and that I heard. And then when it came to me, I read the words and I said, I know I have a spirit with me. And the gal next to me that I'd never met burst into tears. It was her mother-in-law who had just passed. And the message was something that this girl needed to hear. And I don't know whose eyes were biggest in the room, but mine were certainly, oh my gosh, what just happened? Maybe what they told me 5 years ago was true. And so I began to study with a mentor and began to really have experiences in earnest. And mediumship just started coming. I would be in a restaurant and I'd get a message and not really know what to do with it, but I kind of made a deal. I said, all right, guys, if you want me to give this message, facilitate it. I'm not going to walk up into this person and say, hey, by the way. So what would happen is the person with the message, or the message was for, would walk up to me and start speaking. And that way, then I knew, okay, it's safe to give them the message. And I would tell them, I have somebody here who passed a pancreatic cancer or something like that. And they would just sometimes burst into tears, whatever. And I began with the mediumship. Then there was healing that came through. There was channeling energies. And at a certain point, I worked with somebody we're going to channel, and beings came through. And then I found out that I'm a physical medium, which means that things sometimes show up on my face. And there have been times that's been very healing for people, because they will see their deceased relative and know that relative is right with them. And
So that relative's face will actually show up on your face.
the person, the person.
No, I get it. Yeah.
Something. And I have been asked to do that on command. That's not how it works. But I've had some weird experiences with things coming across my face, including Sasquatch and ETs and different things like that.
So let me ask you. Let me just back up a bit. So the dog thing, when the healing for the dog, that was one of your early. That was when you were starting. Okay, so when this stuff happens, and it might have evolved now from that, is it like you hear actual voices in your head, or is it just a feeling or thought placement kind of thing, or what is it?
Well, I will have a repetitive suggestion, probably a thought placement.
Okay.
That where, like, I just kept hearing, give the dog a blessing, give the dog a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I had studied oneness blessings and was channeling oneness blessings. But a lot of times it's just repetitive until I do it. But nowadays it's more, it just comes through, I do make sure.
Sorry,
that
comes through how? Like, comes through how? In what sense? How does it come through?
A thought placement or an energy or an impulse.
Okay.
Just intuition. I follow whatever I am guided to do. Like when I lived in a camper for 16 months, and I was kind of guided with, okay, go buy a camper. So I sold everything and lived in a camper for 16 months. And then at the end of that, I just basically was told, all right, time to sell the camper. You're done with this. And I sold the camper and didn't even know I was going to live.
Did you figure out what was the reason for buying the camper? Did you figure out why they wanted you to have the camper? Did something happen that you're supposed to experience?
Well, I believe that they put me in places where the energy needed to be balanced in a different way. At one point, I know that I was there because the people in the next camper were being harassed, and I was there to balance that. I bought the camper March 4th, 2020. And, by that time I'd sold almost everything and given my notice at the apartment. And the world closed down March 15th of 2020. So I thought that I would be traveling all over the place. I traveled a bit. I went to about 4 different places and spent several months at those different places, but then I would be guided to go someplace else. And there were just experiences. I sent you the one picture that I took when I was in Ohio, the little ET that was in the bush beside my camper.
Right, but you didn't, but I don't have it in the pictures today because did you want to send
I
it
thought I
again?
did. I thought I did, but if not, then I guess it's not supposed to be in part of it.
Kathleen, can I,
Yes.
when you went to these different places, and I probably already know this answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Were you meeting with other people, not of an intention, but were other people coming to you at each one of these places for different reasons?
Well, I would say like the group that was next to me that needed to be protected in some way. I know that that was definite. Yes, I believe that there were certain people that I was supposed to have a conversation with. I didn't always say, oh, by the way, I'm this weird person.
Yeah.
But I did a few times. But there was one place that there was just a lot of anger. I found myself ending up in places where I was surrounded by depression or anger. And I needed to learn for myself not to take that on. But when I would realize, oh, that person over there is terribly depressed, I'd see love, without them knowing it or whatever. But I know that we send our love, we send it, it makes ripples and people do feel it. And sometimes they just need to have a sense that they are loved.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's the only thing I'm supposed to do, that's okay.
And that's pretty powerful. That's pretty powerful too.
I loved Arla's question because that's what I have happened to, and Arla, and I'm sure Mr. Beans and anybody who's kind of this persuasion is that we're guided to go to places where we're supposed to either listen to somebody who has something to offer us, or quite often we're brought there because somebody has to hear something that we can tell them. And sometimes it's so obvious, so obvious that it's beyond any doubt. Like like just quickly, one time I was guided to go to a place in the woods late at night. I got there and there was a security guard there, and we started talking about Sasquatch and stuff, right? As soon as I said that, he said, I just heard one walking in the bush just before you got here, or something big and heavy walking in the bush. And then we had all kinds of like amazing experience developed from there, including a Sasquatch sitting in the car with them float, But anyway, I've said that story before. But my point is that we're all guided to places where people need to hear us, or we need to hear them. Like connection.
A temporary entourage.
I have a funny story.
Helping people out.
Yeah.
I have a funny story that it was while I was living in Ohio, and I came to Indiana to visit my daughter. And as I left there, I thought to myself, I should probably run to the restroom before I leave, because it was a couple hours drive, and I didn't. But so I had to stop along the way, and I stopped at a little place called St. Leon, Indiana. and I went into this convenience store and went to the restroom, came back, got a bottled water, was standing or walking toward the checkout counter and fell.
Oh.
And I was using a cane at the time. I fell on my knee. I could not get myself back up. So they called an ambulance. Well, and there's a bunch of policemen in there. It was quite the spectacle. But I didn't go to the doctor or I didn't ride the ambulance. But as the ambulance drivers came out, I have a sign on my car that said, Kathleen, the mentoring medium. And the two ambulance people came out with me and they looked at the sign and they said, you are kidding me. Last night, we were told she needs to find a mentor. And I thought, okay, did you have to take to St. Leon, Indiana, make me fall so I'd have to get that ambulance driver? And the reality is she is now a dear friend and we work together once a month. But yes, they guided me to have to stop in that place and fall so that I could meet this lady who was looking for me.
Yeah.
I love
that's
it.
a wild
I
story.
love it.
That's wild.
It really is.
That's so cool.
So when you say they, like in my case, and it could be other, I'm sure there's other beings involved too, but with me, it's basically
Beans
Sasquatch that are,
involved.
yeah, beings, Mr. Bean, that are guiding me, Sasquatch basically. But when you say they, who are you referring to for you personally?
My entourage, let's say.
Yes. Yes.
I know that, well, in my channelings, I've channeled all levels of beings. I know that Sasquatch were guiding me when I was walking, and this was around in 2012, 2011, 2012, 2013, that area. They were guiding me. They put me in a place that was close enough that I could walk there every day. And I walked and walked and walked, and I saw things and I meditated and I had experiences that I had no idea was Sasquatch. But I know that they were guiding me. I know that they showed me time. They shape-shifted into the most beautiful deer and animals, and I saw what I know now were Sasquatch structures. But I did not know about them. I had met Reva, and frankly, when I met her, it was at a psychic fair in Madison, Indiana, which I don't know why I would go all the way to Madison, Indiana for a Sasquatch or for a psychic fair, but I think it was probably to meet Reva. But I, she showed me pictures. I frankly didn't see anything, and my eyes kind of rolled and so forth until 2019, when Sasquatch really made themselves known, that they had been helping me, maybe pursuing me. I don't know.
Yeah. How did they?
But I know they were around.
How do they make themselves known?
It's somewhat of a long story, but
well, we got a lot. We got as long as we want. But if you want to get into it, I mean,
yeah, it's one of my favorite things to have happen. Well, it starts back in January of 2019. I had it was a terrible icy day, and so I was at home and I was looking for something to do, and I found a Seth meeting online. The Seth is another story, but I attended this Seth meeting online, and in that time I met 4 different people that were in New York State. And then in about April, one of the people that I met basically said, I have to come and visit you. Okay. So he came to visit, and we, had wonderful spiritual experiences, because our souls are connected. It's not a romantic thing at all, but there's a soul connection, a love there. And then he came back bringing his friend Molly, who I also met that night. And we had all kinds of, spiritual kinds of experiences. They stayed about 3 or 4 days. And driving from New York State, because they needed to come to be with me. We needed to be together. So that night, Molly was telling about a vision she had that included a praying mantis person, a wizard, a Sasquatch, and Molly. She knew that the praying mantis person represented her partner. Greg, the gentleman that came with her, my friend, was the wizard. And she looked at me and she said, could you be the Sasquatch? And I said, well, maybe. And immediately I was flooded with energy that was overpowering. And I knew that okay, it's liable to get me emotional because they're here right now.
It's a good show to cry on.
But I knew that, all right, I have some connection with Sasquatch. And then we had a meditation, and Greg, during the meditation, who sees with his physical eyes, saw a Sasquatch in the cutout in my kitchen. We were all in the living room, and he also saw a dragon through the cutout. And then we had the meditation, and Greg, I was doing light language, and Greg told me that he saw me physically dematerialize and materialize. And I know when it happened. I don't, I don't get to watch these things. But and then Molly had done a vision quest, and she was told, she picked up little stones that led her to these places of the praying mantis, the Sasquatch, and the wizard.
Yeah.
And she picked up all these stones. She asked me to choose a stone, which I did. And she asked me, and I said, it feels like home. And she told me that she had been guided to let me select something from home. And this was picked up in Borth, Wales, which is a site of a submerged forest that only shows itself when there is a hurricane that uncovers the forest. So that's from my home. But so the next morning, they were leaving the next morning, and we're going around the house, trying to gather up everything that they brought with them and so forth. And I said, don't forget that rope that's in the kitchen. And we all walked into the kitchen and we all looked at this rope, and that's not mine. That's not mine. Never had seen this in my life. And we were told to look at the knot. I don't know if you can see that.
You sent me a picture of that, didn't you?
I did.
Do you want me to bring that up?
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to.
I'll bring that up.
But this was a gift from Sasquatch.
Oh, there it is.
No,
It,
there it is.
Is this it? Up there.
no, that's somebody else's. There it is. So that was where Greg had seen the Sasquatch. And you can see little toes if you look close enough.
Oh, you can see his nose, his eyes, his brow. I see his mouth.
Oh, you know what? Right here?
I see
I
his
see the
eyes
whole face.
are right.
I see the whole face here. I see two eyes, a
Well,
nose, nostrils, mouth.
yeah. And there is
Wow.
a face attached to the face as well, which is that's really cool.
Yeah, it's something that's sacred to me. And I always wear it when I'm channeling and whenever I'm doing anything like this. But so that was left for me. And Molly said, well, Sasquatch is known to give gifts. So so then immediately after that, it's like, all right, I got to figure out something about Sasquatch. I have to learn about Sasquatch. And
Well, this is still in 2019.
This was 2019, yes. So then I was going through business cards that had been sitting around for several years, and I happened to find Reva's contact information.
Reva McManus?
Yep. And I contacted her to explain and told her, show this picture. And she said, well, I'm having a Bigfoot conference in September, 2 hours away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So I immediately made reservations and went down there, and was, I had a really good experience. Igor Borchev was there. Kelly Rainbow Butterfly was there. Riva, of course, was there. And I
Was
just,
Robin
it was
McRae?
like,
Was Robin McRae there? Robin McRae, was she
No.
there, or do you know?
I don't think so. I didn't meet her.
Okay.
But it was like, I'm guided, I have to do that. And I went, and I had a very interesting experience. Went around, I visited Riva again and saw her portal that she has by her house. And we went into the woods and had some interactions with Sasquatch. When I am in the woods, I hear things, or I know things, or whatever. So I know there's communication, although it's more mind placement or thought placement.
Yeah.
Than anything.
Is this the interactions that you had you're describing now, or do you want to describe some of them in detail, or is this the interactions you're talking about?
I have a few. I will tell you that suddenly I'm overcome with a lot of energy. Do you feel the energy?
I've been feeling energy throughout the whole show. I got a little spike, yeah.
It's gotten a little bit stronger, and that crackly in my voice is not my normal. Well, I've had a few. The other gift that I was given, and this happened way before. This happened in 2016. I was working at a metaphysical shop doing readings, and this family came in, a lady and her daughter, I think, and there was a young man there too. And she I've never seen her before, but she came back to where I was and she says, "I'm so glad you're here. We have a gift for you from the forest people to show their love and respect." And they brought, and I have a picture of that too, they handed me the stick.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what it was, but I knew it was sacred, so I carried it with me. I had it with me. And once that's the stick. Once I made the connection and I met Garrett Duncan and I showed that to him, he said, "Oh yeah, that's a squashy stick." Okay. Whatever. You know. Anyway, it's another sacred thing that I have. The ET has left this little crystal that I don't think I gave you a picture of this guy, but
No, that's
that
fine.
was left for me. But
No, the Sasquatch people were prepping you in the beginning with that park. They were so working with you, giving you a foundation for when you go into the force now, and just helping to open you up. And I love when they do that, and you know, when people are totally unaware of what's going on, and then you go, wait a minute, I learned all that with them, and now I can take what they helped me with and use that in a good way.
I found there's a tree that I used to meditate. That tree was fallen over. I think I include a picture of that tree. So I would sit there and meditate beside this tree. I also one time was waiting. I was outside in a parking place, and I heard a tree fall. And I thought that was pretty special. I didn't have any idea. The tree that was leaned over, I found my initials carved in it. And I just thought, oh, somebody else has the initials KW, you know. But there was something sacred about that tree. By the way, I noticed that I'm on a walker at this point, so I don't get into the woods, but I have a stand of trees behind me, and I have the most beautiful birds visit me. But yesterday I noticed there's a tree leaned over in the woods, and I am going to hope that it's was for me, because I've been asking
there's
for
no
it.
question about that. I have one on my front yard. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
It's for you.
Yeah. How, Kathleen, the Raven, has he been showing up still?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether he's a raven or a crow. Yes, he's been showing up every day, and I'm talking to him. He's either a crow that acts like a raven or a raven that looks like a crow. You know, I don't know. Or
Well,
he's
how big is he?
he is the biggest size of crow or the smallest size of raven. You know, it's I have I have been studying him, and it's like some days he looks bigger than other days. But he's
Wow. I wonder why.
and his beak, his
Yeah.
I don't know, but the there are no other crows that are here. There is, and crows usually are in a murder of crows.
Yeah.
This is a solitary crow. And he looks in my deck door, and I tell him I love him, and I've named him Beaky because his beak confuses me. You know, I can't tell if it's a raven or a crow beak, but anyway, he's something special. And I just recently been visited by the 6th variety of woodpecker on my deck, feeding from I have had pileated, red belly, downy, hairy, northern flicker, and then the latest is a red-headed woodpecker. And what I looked up about the red-headed woodpecker is that it is near endangered. So I feel very honored that this one is coming to visit me every day.
I don't think woodpeckers normally show up on your porch and stuff. Like, I don't think that's normal. I don't think that's normal woodpecker behavior, but which is saying, you know, that there's probably a lot more to it than what some people would think. But yeah,
I believe, yes, because the behaviors of these birds is so collaborative.
Yeah.
They don't vie for dominance. Not even the blue jays or the starlings. They all just kind of wait in line. And I marvel at them. When I first moved here, there was a huge blue jay. I thought, I've never seen such a big blue jay, and it's still around. But and when I was walking in the park, one day I wanted to see more deer. I used to love to see the deer. And I was kind of testing out the metaphysical. And I said, show me another deer. Show me another deer. And I looked up and I saw the hindquarter of a magnificent buck. And then 2 bucks came by, just kind of sauntering by within 20 feet of me. And they turned and looked at me and then just kept going. And I thought that was really beautiful. But then I realized that these deer, these bucks, were healthier, more magnificent than the deer in the park. These were like real muscular and big and just magnificent. They and I thought that was not the common ordinary deer. And I would see that a lot. I would be walking and I would think, well, should I turn up here? And there'd be 2 deer that they would turn. And so I'd go, okay, I'm turning, going that way. And I believe that some of the animals that come and visit me now, first of all, they know that I don't have access to a park right at the moment, but or to walking in a park. Just as I was getting ready to go and walk in the park with my walker, a tornado hit the park just close to me I think it was on April 1st, and destroyed the campground, destroyed a lot of the areas to walk. So haven't been able to get out there, but I have this stand of trees behind me, and I converse with the trees and feel their energy. And I have a funny story. When I one morning, I was moved to this particular campground. I'm sorry that.
Spirits.
And I woke up. I sat on the side of my bed. Yeah, I sat on the side of my bed and I said, "Well, good morning, tree." And I heard, "Well, I have a name." And I said, "Okay, what would you like me to call you?" And he said, "Buster." So I don't even know where that came from. But so when I left, Buster is a shag bark maple. So there was a little bits of bark that I brought a little bit of Buster with me when I left there. But yeah. I have a funny story. I shared this with Brian back when I was walking in the park. I had just gotten out of a relationship with a much younger man. It was confusing. I don't know why I ever did it in the first place. But anyway, I'm just walking and I see this young buck just 20 feet away, and it's just eating, and all that. And it.
Oh, I thought you meant the younger man when you said young buck.
Yeah,
well, an actual buck. Okay.
Yeah, it was an actual buck. and he was eating, and he looked up and turned his head toward me, went back to eating, and then let a very audible fart. And then I heard the message: "You have been dating a young buck who is oblivious to you, and he has just shown you his unpleasant side."
Oh my goodness. I love the universe in those messages we get. I love that.
It was funny, and I really, I learned something, but now I realize that was probably a message from Sasquatch. So anyway, I haven't.
Obviously you're aware of this, but you know that our guides and the Sasquatch and whatever, they come to us in the form of birds or other animals and whatever. I've had so many experiences where it's just like undeniable. Like I'm looking at a discovery, for instance, that the Sasquatch have left for me, and I look up and I see two ravens like looking at me like, "Do you see it? Do you see it?" Or I'll have an answer, or I'll have a question in my head. Like I wonder if the Sasquatch did this, and then a raven, or ravens are the most common for me, will fly right over my head, and one call, just the way that they communicate with you through the eyes, or the actual shape shifting of these animals is just like, it's so magical and so connective. It just talks about our connective nature. Hey, by the way, can anybody see our show on Facebook? Because I can't seem to find it now.
Huh. Maybe do you refresh?
I mean, we are recording. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Look, the
You know,
show's so good.
I'm getting these messages from my group of people who I think they're saying something because one of them said something. Well, I guess I'll have to watch it later. But you know, when all those dings started happening, I wonder if we lost power at that point or what lost the connection.
I don't know. You see his beans?
Yeah, we're here. You're good.
We're good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bigfoot, Michigan, Bob, Rob's there, and somebody's a shout out to Christy Sci-Fi. There's a few people here.
Oh, okay. By the way, I'm on Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob's show tomorrow at 10.
Oh, good for you.
So hope everybody
Today?
tunes in. Tomorrow.
Oh,
Oh, we
Well,
got
how
a
could I
show-
be on
we got a-
today?
We got
we're doing
I
our
another
show.
didn't know
we got
whether
a-
we
We got another show
I don't know.
tomorrow
This is not
at 8
my
p.m.
normal thing to do.
Yeah. I got Bigfoot, Michigan, Rob tomorrow at 10, and then we're doing our show with the
She
She
Squatchers.
She Squatchers, Tammy
Yeah.
Tretchell, and She Squatchers.
yeah.
Gina Grover,
Yeah.
Jen Cruz.
Yeah. You know, talking about getting back to our subject, talking about big birds. I remember right in my where my Sasquatch, right by where I hold my gatherings or whatever every year, I saw a raven standing on the side of the road, and I swear it was 3 feet tall. It was a
Wow.
big raven. It was a
Yeah,
That's bigger than a like an eagle or something.
it was at least the size of an eagle. Yeah, maybe 3 feet's a bit much, but it was 2.5 to 3 feet tall. So
Buzzards can
you know.
be 3 feet when they have their neck up.
Yeah.
That's like a condor, too. The condors are very huge.
Yeah, I had a golden eagle fly into the forest canopy when my wife and I were doing a smudging ceremony and was watching us. And it was huge. At first, I thought it was a pterodactyl. Like I thought, what the heck is that? And that was pretty cool. But anyway, so how did you? We'll get into some of the pictures in a bit because there's a lot of light language pictures, and Arla and you guys should play off each other because she's had light language and fire and stuff too. Like not only, so I guess there's different varieties of light language, but so we'll get into some of those pictures in a second. But how did you start doing light language? How did that come about?
Well, I actually attended a workshop with a friend who has done light language for many years. I was guided, okay, you need to go to this workshop. And at the end, they did a meditation, and it suddenly just spewed out. And again, my eyes I didn't know what was going on, but it just spewed out. It just happened. They told me that the friend and her husband told me that they had witnessed me doing that before when I was in a meditation and that I went somewhere. I did not know that I had experienced that before, but evidently I had. So it spewed out, and it's like the next morning, I got to figure this out. So I asked people on my Facebook group, anybody want to experience this? I want to see if I can do it. And I actually had somebody in Australia and somebody in England who both wanted to do that, wanted to experience. The gal in England, it came out really, really loud. And I basically said, okay, you guys, you got to tone it down a little bit. I don't want to scare people. But the people in Australia, it was a couple,
So they
and
were
the guy,
they were Star Nation. Their Star language shouting.
yeah, oh yeah, there's all kinds of varieties of it. It's just, and it changes all the time. There's also sometimes my hands move around, and I make this thing. I'm not a crafty person, but I was basically guided that I needed to make these things.
Wow. Wow. Amazing.
So I have hundreds of dollars of natural stones.
So there's a light language message in
They're all
every one of
different.
those, right? I've got a couple that Kathleen sent me. So there's a light language message in each and every one of them, right?
There's an energy that just like any light language, it doesn't necessarily translate to a message, but you get what you need to get from it.
I
Light
love that.
language is a heart to heart language,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's an energetic language.
Yep. Awesome.
It's one of mine. I got to figure out which one I'm going to give to Ari, though. I guess he's bigger than me. Maybe I should give him the big one. I don't know. But I kind of like the big one. I don't know.
Well, if you like the big one, then you should keep the big one. It doesn't, I don't, when I am getting ready to send them to people, I just kind of look and say, okay, that's the one that person gets. And a lot of times people will say, oh, how did you know it was my favorite color? Or I don't know. I can't explain it. I know that I was supposed to make them. I still make them. And I just, whenever it comes up, I make them, and they carry an energy, and I don't have to understand it any further.
Yeah. Hey, Arla's going to have to leave in about 50 minutes. So why don't we get into some of these pictures? And I'd love to hear you ladies going back and forth about your experiences with the light language, because I think they're similar and also different. And that's funny that I can't see our show on Facebook, but it says it's recorded. Can you see it, Arla? Or do you?
I'm honed in on what we're doing.
Okay, it doesn't matter. Hopefully they can see us. If not, then well, yeah,
Well,
I guess they can. But
yeah,
anyway.
Bean said they could, so he knows.
Frank Oliver Beans.
It is what it's supposed to be, whatever
That's
it is.
exactly it.
Okay, you girls can keep talking for a second. I got to bring these pictures up. I just got to.
Arla, would you tell me about your light language?
Well, I've been a part of it. It's been a part of me since I was young. We've come from so long of going through, well, that's what this is, or no, that's what that is, or whatever. Everybody wants to put a label on something, and for sure something that they think is some kind of phenomenon. The language I have, but I think the thing that began to change for me in working with a light language, it was a series of events, but I was in an extremely bad semi-wreck. And they didn't think I'd live. I had clots on my lungs, and but I did. So during that time, I wasn't mobile, which has never been a problem for me. I was always very mobile. So I learned some things about that. Now, I've always worked with Grandpa Fire. Grandpa Fire is one of my teachers, but much more than that word. And so after a while, I was able to come back to my cabin and be there because I don't have running water at that cabin. I slept in a loft and I wasn't able to be there and take care of myself. So after I was able, I went back to my cabin, and this land where am is very special to me. And Grandpa Fire started working with me. It was every day. I got up each morning, I went outside, and I had a fire. And I got to noticing that there were things going on in the fire other than things I had seen before. And this particular morning, the energy of Grandpa Fire was something else. And I love to take photos of Grandpa Fire because there are so many things in it, and everybody can have their own personal message within it.
Mm-hmm.
And this particular morning, I was taking a series of photos, and I had looked, I was like, something's going on in that fire. And I looked, and there is an A glyph in that. They use A with me. A doesn't always mean Arla, but if I see it as a signature like that, I know that they are talking to me. They're telling me, pay attention.
Yeah.
And across that A, right above it, there is a written language.
Right
I
here.
see that and I feel it. I'm feeling it like crazy.
Yeah, right here, right?
Yeah. Yes. And so I was told that my viewing of light language would be expanded and that I would begin to other things. There are so many things in that fire right there that I still get chills when I look at it. But the language, and it even extends a little bit out past the fire on that one level on the left right there. It comes in and it begins the writing.
Yeah. Look at this.
And,
Wow.
you know, I had always known light language as something that came from it within me that I spoke. I did not have any reference for it going on like this.
Yeah.
And
Well, it makes
and
sense that it could come in any way, right? You would think. I
yes,
mean, it
yes,
makes perfect sense.
yes, it did. And since, all the beings, the Sasquatch people, the fairies, the little people, um, the Star Nation people, all of those have worked with me through glyph. And it would stand to reason that to get my attention with it, that they would use
Yeah.
Grandpa Fire would be the one that would bring that to me because I was healing more of the trauma from the wreck than the physical body, even though my physical body was not where it would become.
Yeah.
And so it has evolved from that. And I don't know how much of this is out there. I know there is writing of the
Oh
light
yeah.
language. I have seen that. Um, but I'm even getting the glyphs on the ground with different things.
Yeah.
That is that light language. And it is when you are right in that place where that light language is placed on the ground, the energy is phenomenal and
You know
so
what?
loving. And
You know what? When I think about it, some of the glyphs that I've seen have been written. Now that I think about it, look like a light language. Some
I'm
of them
sure
look like
they
sentences,
are.
and you know what I mean, right?
Yes, I
I
do.
I feel that
Yeah.
everything can be light language Everything has an energy.
Yeah.
Words
Yeah.
have an energy.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
I will tell you, Arla, that my entire body is reacting to the energy of this picture.
Oh man, I see about 4 or 5 faces in the
Yeah.
front. One's an amazing one right above the light language in that little dark area.
Yep.
There's a
There.
nose and a mouth. They're right there.
They're all
Yeah.
over the place. Yeah.
And the interesting thing about this photo is those things shift in it
Oh yeah.
from time to time. I can meditate with looking at this and it begins to shift and change.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
There's an
working
interesting
with
point. There's an interesting point, Kathleen, that Arla was saying. Like she was talking about the A, and the message for these glyphs, if they're personal to you, are specific to the person. Like I have my own understanding between the Sasquatch and I for my meanings for the glyphs, and they're consistent, and they've proven it beyond a doubt that that's what they mean for me. And my meaning is RE, but my clan leader, that's his signature. But for Arla, it's something different, but it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's right for both of us.
I
Right.
agree. In fact, I think that if I do light language for a big group of people, each person feels a different message because it's for them.
Yes. Yes.
It's not, there is, and that's one reason why it's not directly translatable in English, because it goes to your heart. It goes to you receive what you need.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
personal. It's personal.
I'm
I'm
receiving healing from this picture right now in my eye.
So just let me show the people that are watching this. Well, how did that get there? Who just put that there?
Put what?
This red,
He just marked
that wasn't
it.
there before, was it? Didn't that just pop up now?
Unbelievable.
What? No, I'm
It, I am so glad
Beans
you
is
were
laughing.
on,
He did something.
Kathleen.
Anyway,
this needed. This was needed.
how are you doing that, Beans?
I don't know.
Anyway, this is what I wanted to point out to the people who are looking. Here's like the language is kind of starting over here, and it's going right across
Yeah.
here. It's pretty obvious. That's cool. Oh, I see your name on there. Okay. I have no idea how you do that, but anyway, I'm not like a high-tech whiz. So anyway,
The energy is it's very powerful. The energy of all of this. I believe that without language, we are all communicating in light language now, just with the energy.
yeah. Well, one thing the Sasquatch people told me was energy is a universal language, because it doesn't have to be interpreted or misinterpretation from the spoken word or whatever. You could feel it energetically and in your heart, and the authenticity and the energy behind it. So that is the universal language.
Energy.
Yeah.
We are energy. We are the essence of love, and that's what our energy is.
Yeah. Well, here's some.
It's not these bodies.
Here's some cool glyphs. So what did you want to say about this, Arla? And we've got your pictures too, Kathleen, coming up.
This is in one of my goat feed pans. My goats didn't do it. Well, I don't know. I guess they could have.
No, that's not random here. This thing. Either is this.
No, I've got some different. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. So it
wow.
And I began to get a lot of these. They would even be underwater at the bottom of the water bucket,
Yeah, I've seen that.
and they
I've
would
seen
be
that.
submerged underwater.
Yep.
And one of the things that I began to gather from this, that yes, these have a universal message for anyone who needs it. But because of what was going on with me and this land, um, there were things that they were doing through light language that was assisting what was going on. And this actually, a lot of these were Star Nation beings that I've been working with. They were bringing them. Some, I think the energy manifested them. I don't think any particular being, that's how they felt when I looked at them, that they were purely energy, love energy manifested or written out. So I've had people look at me kind of funny when I said that, but that's what I feel that they were.
That very, very powerful. I felt it in my heart when I looked at it, and what I see is the written light language a form of written light language, because there's many, they come out in anything.
Yes.
In paintings and dance and in
Oh yes.
song and in gestures and in creating something. I believe that light language is just another term for the language of energy, the language of the essence of love.
Yes, I do too. Very, very much so. It's, and that is something too that we talk a lot about with the Sasquatch people. That love that they give us um is phenomenal, and that love is translated physically, not us physically feeling it, but can be manifested through writing. It can be manifested through, like you were saying, singing, dancing, whatever. It just comes out, and oh my goodness, the energy that it creates is just, it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I I started to share with when I did the thing for the couple in Australia. The young man said to me, "I don't know what you did, but I have pins and plates in my leg from a car accident or a motorcycle accident." And he said, "They're all vibrating."
Oh, wow.
I thought, oh, okay, better watch that. But I know that people can feel it if they're meant to feel it.
Yes.
Well, like, and most people, oh, there's an A. Oh, and there's
It's like an
an
infinity.
infinity sign.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's
Yeah.
an M.
Is this Arla?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an M right here, so that must
Yeah.
have been for me.
Okay. Well, then we need a T for taught here. There's probably one there.
Right here.
I don't see a K.
Let's see.
Um,
I love it.
I still
Oh
don't know
yeah,
how
I
you put
see a
those.
K. I see
I
a
still don't know
K.
how the heck you put those things on there, but okay, whatever. Oh yeah, there it is. Tot, Mike, Arla.
Yep. I see a K off of right at the center, down at the center bottom. There is the little
Oh, I
mark
see it.
for the K. Do you see
I
it?
I do. Oh, I'll tell you, the energy that I'm feeling right now is whoa. I may have to do a little light language to release it.
Oh,
Whatever you got to
please.
do.
Yes.
I want to know about these little
Uh,
guys right here. You see them little rocks, the little black rock is like just
yeah,
not part
You're
of the
gonna
picture.
laugh when I tell you what that is.
I
It's
think
it's goat poop.
that's what I thought.
Really?
I thought so too.
That's
Okay.
awesome.
So you
The
got
black one is
one goat
yes.
poop, please.
I love my goats. I loved my goats so much.
I need to. I think there's
Please
something
do,
coming.
Kathleen.
Well, fire,
Hey,
fire is an element. Motion element.
Setia matakalia tata yamatakisiktiata. Saatatia namata siatatatia lamako kitia tatayetapa. Ha si amagatai. Sole amahayata. Se katia makoti. Yamakate. Okay. I think that's it. The energy is still coming through, isn't it?
Do you have like a translation for that? That sounds to me so much like maybe some kind of form of American Indian Sasquatch kind of sound.
The only thing I felt was that they were giving love and gratitude. But I don't have a direct translation. It goes directly to your heart. But the emotions that I felt were very high level, just deep love and deep gratitude for what you are doing.
One of the things that came through for me through that was one of the beings that came to me and that I have been connected to. It was like he was sending all of that to me to let me know that what we are doing is done in a good way. He is a Mounds shaman, a Mounds people shaman, and he is very much of the light. And the message, there's more to it. I can't, because there's no English words or any kind of words that I can actually say, but that was what was coming into my heart. And I am so thankful for that.
Let's look at a couple more. Some of these are Arla's. I got a couple of mine up here. And maybe if you get any impressions, Kathleen or whatever, or feelings, you can speak up on them. But isn't this interesting? The leaf here, and then, this little glyph symbol right here now. That's beautiful.
I get the connection between, like, symbolically different beings. So we have a leaf and we have a glyph, and that's almost as if, like, the leaf is representing some peaceful group, and the other is another group, another species, if you will, that are working together in harmony. That's what I'm getting. Do you get anything different, Arla?
No, that's one or two totally different species coexisting in love.
Exactly, and working toward bringing other species together with them, with the,
Yeah.
the
Yeah. I
yeah,
feel that. I'm feeling that too. Yeah. Beautiful.
it's there's so much energy.
Tell me when you
And
want to move on to the next one, but go ahead. Tell me when, just let me know when you guys want to move on to the next picture. This is interesting. I like this.
that's all I'm getting. There's just a whole lot of love energy in there.
Oh, look at this, Arla. Yeah, that just felt like that, right? I'm being sarcastic. I'm being sarcastic, of course. That just felt like that, right?
Yeah, I think I've got one that's very, very similar like that fell like that.
That's yours. That
Oh,
is
that's
yours.
mine. I was like, oh, Brian, please don't tell me that's yours. Yes. Yeah, that was I was baking bread, and I love to bake bread. I literally love
Look
it.
at this little circle here. I mean,
Yeah.
wow.
Is this a hair?
No,
Is this
no. It's like a piece of fiber.
I have been left hairs.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
They-
feeling anything
they-
with this, Kathleen? Sorry, I'm for interrupting you. You've been left hairs.
It's okay. Let me see if I get anything. I don't know. The words I heard is, bread is the music of life.
It is. It is. I always want to sing. and I do a lot of times when I'm making bread because it's something my grandmother taught me. And every time I do it, she's right there with me, and I loved her dearly.
Cool. That's great. Now, Arla, did this just, obviously it just showed up.
Yeah, yeah. I was cooking, and I didn't have any fiber or anything like that. It's
Yeah.
like a string fiber type thing. I don't even know where it came from, but I looked down. Actually, I went to pick my butter up and put it in the refrigerator, and that was there.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to pay attention to more of those little things like that show up.
Yeah. It's not.
I'm looking forward to that.
It's not on what Kathleen says about them. Yeah. It's not unusual though. It's happened to me. It's happened to Sue. It happens to a lot of people who are open to it. Yeah, it's beautiful. Now I've got a few of mine, but I'd like your thoughts. But I will say though too that I do think there's an energy and a meaning that can be derived for other people. But there's also the ones for me. There's also a personal meaning for me. But I do understand that there's energy to them, and there is another meaning that can be derived from them. So,
yeah. I was like,
okay, here's another one of yours, Arla.
You said, well, you said you had some of yours, and so I just thought you put yours up there, and I was like, oh my gosh.
No, I because this was so interesting, I thought I'd add a couple of my good ones and just see what a few of them. Here's another one,
Yeah.
Kathleen, from Arla.
And there's
Yeah.
my foot, so that gives you reference for the size.
Yeah. That's kind of
Is
very
this
cool.
is this about a place? Is this because I see kind of like a mountain or a rolling hill?
Yeah.
But it's not here on this planet.
Mhm.
Can you make that a little bigger, Brian?
I can do anything you want, Mr. Beans.
Yeah, well, make me rich.
He can't make you good looking. You're already good looking.
That's why I asked for money.
No doubt.
Good looking
You
and
know,
money, you'd be dangerous.
you know what, women? You know, women don't like that good-looking man with no money. They don't like that.
They don't like men who look better looking than them either.
You know, Kathleen,
I
this
think you all are doing hasty generalizations. So
what you were saying about the mountain and it not being here on this planet, you are totally correct. But this place had a mountain, not a physical mountain, but a spiritual mountain that is connected to the other mountain that is not here. So that same energy of that mountain is here.
Wow.
And so this represents, yeah,
That is cool.
this used to be part of a mountain many eons ago. This is the zone home in Wales
that's
when I was
Mhm.
are part of the Sasquatch group.
You're breaking up a little bit. Did you guys hear her or did she break up?
There when that mountain.
Okay, hold on a minute. I'll get back to some of these in a bit, but we'll just move on to we'll get on to all your pictures too, Kathleen. But where's my, hang on a minute. Hang on a second. I'm just going to go out of here for a second. So just carry on the conversation, ladies, while I find those pictures I was talking about.
What a nice feel-good show. I'm enjoying this so much.
Oh, me too. It's like, and I've got to go take Matthew to the doctor after this
I
for surgery pre-op. I'm going to be like high in the doctor's office.
We're losing Kathleen's connection or something.
send positive vibes.
Thank you, Kathleen. I really
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah, well,
Kathleen, we're losing her, eh?
I think she's giving some light language.
Yeah, but she's breaking up. I wonder if we can ask her to reconnect or something, or just getting pretty bad, isn't it?
I will see if I can.
Oh.
Kathleen, can you hear us now? Anyway, Arla, so very interesting show, eh, guys?
It is. This is like perfection for me. That everything that we talk about, love and what that's what it is. We know that love that passes the human understanding, and that is with the light language. It goes straight to your heart. You don't even have to filter what is being said. You just know in your heart that what that information was something that you were supposed to have.
Yeah. Yeah. That's too bad that hopefully she can come back and be audible.
Yeah, I
But
wanted to see her
Oh, I
stuff.
just thought the energy just went too much for the equipment. You know what I mean? She's holding
yeah.
a lot of
That
energy
could,
now.
Well, it's
yeah,
already compromised just when you come on, Beans, being the world's handsomest man, and then put anything else in the equation, it really
Oh,
goes
no, well,
haywire.
actually,
yeah,
that's not
and
a joke. You got like four really high energy beings here.
yeah, it's gonna mess with technology
And then all of our
for sure.
entourages,
Yeah,
all those guys are in here. So not doesn't take
that
much to overload it.
I had a girlfriend years ago when we would go someplace. She'd go and she'd get ready to get in my car and she'd look in. What are you doing? She'd say, "Well, I'm just trying to see who all was here and where I needed to sit." Of course, you couldn't see anybody, but she was sensing that there was a group going.
You guys talk amongst yourself. I'm going to check Facebook to see if she's messaging me. Try to get back
Okay.
on.
And I've only got about 15 minutes, so
Yeah.
Arla,
they frown on you.
I love that fire element. You know, the fire light language is what you would call it. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
was just amazing. I mean, paranormal is all get out, and then spiritual is all get out too.
And there's another fire picture too. It was the same day, actually, but it's different. The fire's different, and it's tall and kind of thin, goes up, but there is light language in that as well. But Grandpa Fire is something that I work with. And so it would stand to reason that something that's so healing to me, and that's one of the things that I tell people when I put the new moon and the full moon thing on, of energetically connecting along the grids of the earth, and in your manifestation or your prayers is to take those and write those down and then give them to Grandpa Fire, and those things are taken care of then. So he is very much a part of my healing. But if you think past that, people all the time talk about, I love to gaze into the fire. Why is
Hmm.
that?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's very, very
fire in
healing.
the house. You know, was a big deal. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
Before we
I
had
think
houses, we had fire.
I think one of the good things that we brought out here is that, like, people are really with the light language, and the glyphs can be light language too. They're really
Yep.
underestimating what a glyph is, because people always say, well, what does this glyph mean? I can't tell them what
Yep.
it means, because for one thing, it's personal for me if it's for me. And the other thing is that as we've been discussing today, it's got that big energy meaning that's
Yeah.
like beyond just my own personal meaning for it.
Yeah.
So they're very detailed. They're magical and amazing in that way, that kind of connection and the energy that comes with that. So it's really
Yeah.
you just can't really say what the meaning is. So when people, like when people say, well, what's like across the board meaning, that's kind of like really kind of selling it short. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. The whole earth, everything here on this earth and within this universe conspires to bring that love to us.
Right.
It's like there's all these things that are happening that are trying to get our attention and say, hey, this is about love. You know, you look at a tree and you go, oh my gosh, that tree is so beautiful. Well, what are you feeling when you say that? You're feeling a love and an appreciation for that natural beauty. Now, whatever it is that you're talking about is sensing that love from you and sending that love back to you. But then that love goes out into the universe as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just in what most consider simple things, uh, you know, looking at the beauty of how an inchworm moves. I've watched so many inchworms in my life, and there is just this beautiful movement of this inchworm going what we think is very slow, but yet there's such a beauty in that. And all of the times that we see things that we think are beautiful, and that can be even in your grandmother's face with wrinkles and everything else, and you see the beauty of that. That love goes to that person, back to you, and out into the universe. And people are sending love out into the universe that I probably have no idea that they're doing that. But in that can come the connection for people to begin to see things in a whole different way. And what
Yeah.
better than the woods and natural world to bring us to that?
Yeah.
What
I think the universe.
what I like about glyphs is that when you look around for glyphs and you're trying to see meaning, right, and trying to find meaning, it's if you just like look at that, then you start looking at the environment, then you look at the leaves, and you look at everything, the patterns, and you go, "Oh my God, this tree drops down this incredible pattern of brown leaves, but this tree over here has beautiful yellow leaves when they fall down, and they're just like there's a pattern to it, and it's like a texture, it's like living art." So there's, you know. I think that's one of the things that I like to mention about the Sasquatch people. It's not just the Sasquatch people. The Sasquatch people are in an environment called the woods or the mountains, and
Yeah.
when you open up to their magic, you're starting to open up to all the magic. Magic in the air, magic in the
Oh, yeah.
fire, magic in the rocks, magic in the water. And like you say, I love what you said. It's all about love, you know. I heard this lady say one
Yeah.
time that she's a psychic lady, and she said when she was on like a vision quest to understand things, she was looking at atoms. She was saying that atoms to form molecules, the atoms actually hold hands and they dance. It's just like love, and then to build up a little molecule or something, a little. It's just like that. The bond that holds everything
Yes.
together is
Yes.
really love and kind of a bliss, like an enjoy excitement to be, oh, we're part of a car now, we're part of a rock. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's so simple that, and I think sometimes we do as humans make things a lot more complicated than what they are. And but what you're talking about, Beans, it's like this glyph becomes a doorway,
Yeah.
and this door gets opened, and then all of these other things are right there, just on the other side of that doorway. And you just go from, oh, that's a cool glyph. Oh, wait a minute, something's going on here, like you said. And that just opens up so much more.
Yeah,
But we as
it's
humans,
not just the Sasquatch, it's the air, it's the season, it's the tree, it's the leaf,
it's
it's the
everything.
grass
Yep.
living
It's,
and the little tiny blooms and then the things that are dying. The whole thing's just
yep.
amazing.
It's everything. Yep. It's everything. Well, guys, I'm going to have to go. So you two are going to have to talk between yourselves. And this has been an awesome show. Kathleen, if you are listening at some point, thank you so much for what you do and what you brought and what you opened up today. I am so thankful that you are here, and I expect to see more from you too. So you
Yeah.
guys have an awesome day.
She's trying to
And
reconnect, but she's having an issue. Yeah.
yeah, but I am sending you out love, and every time that whatever it was beeping or whatever, I was shooting love out. So love you guys. Bye.